Welcome back to the Zuma Show. Faze, strong performance on Parliament. Just 3 scores was enough to get the win. ISO held scoreless there, team.
They didn't even have a good attempt, really. They maybe could have had 1 point from a throw that I kind of critiqued them on, but they didn't end up getting that. Wow. Zuma Show pretty much summed up that third map. I don't know how else to say it, really. The next map coming up is Compound. I say both teams are quite good at this from my experiences playing them, but overall you have to say the way Zuma's playing, can ISO stop him?
Do you take the ball out of his hands, or you just...
You let him do whatever he wants.
You tell him to go back to the SMG? Okay, do what you want.
It's working, man. Just let him do him.
We're going to watch you some more today. The S&D from him, pretty ridiculous, even though Dito and ISO were able to get the win there. But Zuma, ridiculous showing so far against Isolation Esports. On the other side, you look at ISO, your back's against the wall, you're facing elimination now. Who's your guy? I think I killed your mic, TV. I killed your mic. I had my friend walking around up here. He kicked some things, the microphone. We'll get you back up and running. For now, going right back into this, guys. It is time for some action. The map is loading up, and TP, I'm gonna let you drive this, my friend, because apparently I hit the wrong button. Let me hook you up real quick. See this one? Get that B button, get that left bumper, and we are right into the action. Here we go. It's going to be enable on your screen to open things up. Throw on your COD vision. You can see the action coming through. Llama God and Dito fighting for center control. Enable just hanging back off the initial push. And we're going to take a look while TP gets sorted out here. What's going on here for Faze? The mini map. You can see they're all trying to flank. Zuma on the back, enable is dropped. So a good opening here. It's Llama God doing the damage. 5 and 3 for ISO. They're trailing by just 6 points, but they're rotating first. Faze is going to be in the back. Llama God, nades going out, waiting for Silly. Silly gets dropped, but Havoc now spawning with him, and you're gonna see Dito jump in. Dito big kills with the AR while Havoc goes on the long flank. Good pinch there, but it's gonna be attached right back into the action. Attached inside. The question is for how long Havoc will be able to take him down as this one goes back and forth. 1:20 in, 5 points separating these two players. Dito and Silly looking for control, but big kills being scored by Attach. He picks up the double. Will also be able to pick up a good 5 seconds here. His teammates trying to support. The Bowls coming out. Enable clearing the way. Zuma jumping over is getting in their face as well. And we have TP back in action. Life is good once again.
We're back.
TP, what have you seen so far in this game? Not a huge difference in the score, but it looks like Faze getting the better of ISO there in the second half of Hill 2.
Yeah, definitely just having the better spawns at that back yellow bridge, and we see ISO getting the better part of the map for this third hard point coming up. We see Attach breaking in, Silly contesting that a little bit, Zuma flying into the hill once again, trying to get that contesting time. This hill is pretty easy to milk once you get control of that back red crate area. You can kind of manipulate the spawns to make your opponent spawn out at that junkyard area, but now we see ISO spawning sort of in that middle map, trying to contest this red shack, getting control of it, but overall Faze is just milking so much time, extending their lead very quickly.
Now we've been watching this, and I've kind of called it the money hill. Previously it was kind of Hill 4 that got all the credit. I feel like we see teams now scoring the most hill on here on Hill 3.
Definitely.
What is the key position to lock down if you want to keep these spawns, and what do you want to prevent from your opponents if you want to keep scoring?
Basically, you can really play it however you want, whether you're spawning at that junkyard area or at the tunnel side, but in my opinion, you want to be controlling that back red crate, making sure your bow guy is watching up top on the bridge or the top red shack, while the sub players just kind of flood into the hill and push out to that junkyard, making them spawn out as far as possible, whether it's at middle or that junkyard. If you're able to hold that spawn, it sets you up for this hill right here. We see once again Faze just setting up that pinch constantly. Clay's pushing out at this white crate. We call it White Alley a little bit, but we see him contesting shots, making people weak. ISO trying to combat the hill as best they can, but Faze already up about 40 points. but ISO answering back, milking up some time themselves.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. You saw a perfect pinch coming in from Faze. They all kind of spread out, and then Llama God just gets a two-piece to break it. So Llama trying to keep his squad in it, but they got to get past two players. It's Attach and Zuma inside. Zuma gets dropped. Clayster now jumping in. Attach holding strong, full red, gets the help he needed from Clayster's grenades, and Clay's two-piece should secure them another 10 points. Faze doing everything right here in the first set of rotations.
The sort of common attribute we see from Faze every single map is how much they're able to preserve their life. Attach was so deeply injured right there. When it's able to stay alive, they all are able to do this time and time again. We see it's so hard to finish the kills on them. That's why they're able to just regain their health, group up with their teammates, and just contest the hill over and over again. And that's why their KDs continue to spread. They know when to back down from a fight. We see Enable only challenging gunfights when he needs to right here, single-handedly contesting the hill while his teammates are able to run around and just wreak havoc, pick up those kills, and just constantly extend their lead. Basically flawless gameplay from back-to-back hills from Faze, and that's why they're up about 80 points now.
Enable is playing this hill so smart. He's on a 5 streak as well. This would be his 3rd kill in a row, and he is going to drop
Good
it.
stuff.
Enable just playing so smart, and you saw him set it all up in the rotation. Instead of charging out and challenging the people he knew would be coming his way, he hides around a corner, baits out the player, and then is able to jump in and punish. Incredible showing so far in your first 5 minutes from Faze. ISO, it's looking like the end of this best of 5 unless they turn up right now. You got Havoc at 13 and 20. Dito has been pretty quiet, and Llama, who's had some big kills, just 15 and 21. Silly on top, 14 and 22. They're simply not getting the kills they need.
Yeah, this is looking like similar to how OG plays most of their hard points. All of Faze just putting up huge numbers on the board, Attach with 9 caps already, also going positive. All the pressure is there. Enable and Attach seems like they're just taking turns in the hill, playing it as smart as possible whenever they need to, constantly putting damage, knowing when to challenge, knowing when not to challenge, while Zuma and Clay just sort of do everything else on the map, sprinting around in circles, just racking up as many kills as quickly as they can.
Teep, you play the objective role in AW. Who is the objective player so far in this hard point for Faze?
You have to give it to Attach. I mean, just look at the caps compared to everyone else. He's always that intro player into the hill, opening up those lanes for his teammates to pick up all those kills, and Enable sort of that backup player to him. When Attach isn't there to do it, we saw Enable do it on that last hill. Easy two-piece, players lining up for Attach, making it look so easy at this point, racking up so much time himself. 3rd kill on the hill, almost a 4th, probably gonna get it. He sees players just hopping over the wall. He's basically shooting players that are one-shot all the time because Clay is always in a good position with his bow, holding spawns and doing damage.
Excellent breakdown of Faze here. Everything going as planned on comeback. Excuse me, compound. And we're looking across here at the KDs, and really nothing negative to point out from Faze. Everyone doing their job perfectly. You look at the mini map, and it's just got to be so frustrating to be ISO. At this point, it feels like they're charging in one at a time and just getting melted.
It just really, it's sad. It seems like they've given up at this point. They're not even flipping around, trying to go for that yellow spawn at the back bridge. They're just down so many points. 100 is almost impossible to come back from. They're just spreading out, like you said, going one at a time. They really have no chance to try and flip spawns when they're trying to do it single-handedly. Llama's doing his best to get control of this red crate, but he's always pinched in, always trying to challenge gunfights. And we see Zuma, again, just take so much damage, runs away, doesn't be a free death, and that's how they're able to sustain their setups for so long. They know when not to challenge and rely on each other to kill people quick enough.
Patch and Clay drop from inside the hard point. Zuma trying to retake it. 2 players going to be inside, and he is going to have to get his way around Silly first. Nice hold. Dito helping out on the back end. It's not mathematically over yet for Isolation, but it's getting close. Placer's 2-piece and Enable's 3rd kill is going to make this even more difficult. Now you see Attach setting up. He's going to get the final 15 seconds. ISO trying to rotate all the way around. And it's Glacier just backing up and doing all the damage on his own.
That was sort of the setup I was talking about before, where you make them spawn just so far across the map, and FaZe has been able to do that on multiple hills, and that's why the scoreboard is where it is. And it translates you to have control for the next hill because you want to keep spawning in that same sort of area. So if you're able to win one hill, essentially you can win the next very easily just by having that same setup.
Havoc just seems a little bit lost when you go up against a player like Clayster. He's melting them every time he jumps out. Lamagod on your screen, still shooting all right, but they simply have not had the lanes they were hoping for. On the opposite end, it's attached inside the hill, 241 and counting. They're trying to end it before the time limit expires, and you're gonna see Enable inside with Clay. Clay at 45 is gonna find it, and that should do it. Faze with a 3-1 over Isolation Esports to stay perfect in their pool.
Yeah, the only thing that's kind of scaring me about Faze is how slow they've been starting in some of these series. But if they're able to pull off wins like this, quite impressive stuff. Each player having their moments where they step up, but for me, the most convincing was Zuma on that Parliament and on that S&D. Single-handedly, I don't want to say carrying his team, but putting so much pressure on the other team where they can't get out of their base.
We've seen a lot of teams struggle with some of the DLC maps, especially the Europeans so far in this tournament. Faze, the opposite. They excelled in them tonight. Incredible showing on Parliament and a great performance on Compound. You gotta